this Ravens team's very interesting. Much like the Eagles, they got off to that 3-0 start, then they went down a little bit, but they came back. The Eagles did not.
That's correct. That's where the fork in the road is, Mike. That's where the road split.
That's where these two teams took a different path. Qadry Ismail is with us here from the Ravens Radio Network, WBAL. Ravens and Eagles. Big game for the Ravens here, Qadry, as they're still trying to make a playoff push here. Where did their season kind of change for you? The Eagles, they went off to that 3-0 start, loss, and never really got back on the rails, but it seems that the Ravens have got themselves back on track a little bit.
Yeah, they certainly did. It's interesting, how you kind of look at the season, you look at different games, you kind of pencil certain games as either wins or losses, and I think for the Ravens, they kind of felt like if they were able to take care of the teams in their division and split against the good teams, then they would put themselves in, the place where they control their own destiny. I think the thing that went wrong for them, unfortunately, was losses against teams like the Jets where they should have won. They actually had the Giants. They were up, I think it was 10-0 in the first quarter on them, but failed to really capitalize. And, you kind of look at the season as a season where they probably should have had a better command of the AFC North, but yet here they are. And I think on the flip side of it, from injuries to new coaching staff to a rookie quarterback, is basically what it looks like in Philadelphia for the Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles really have struggled offensively. And if they're struggling offensively, what are they looking at on that other side of the ball with this Ravens defense?
Yeah, I think the defense for the Ravens, they've done a great job, number one, of really running to the ball, really getting after the quarterback and making life uncomfortable. They do a great job of being disciplined as far as stopping the run. And so then you're kind of forced to open up from a passing attack standpoint. I think the Achilles heel for the Ravens, believe it or not, is that, because of Jimmy Smith, their starting corner, being out with injuries throughout the year at key points, the better receivers have gotten the best of this Ravens ball club, and big plays were put upon them. So that's something that when you look at it, they need to figure out how can they, continue to be that dominating of a defense, but without Jimmy Smith, who might not play this week because of an ankle injury, how can they do a better job of stopping the big play from happening after they do such an excellent job of stopping the run?
I've been seeing a lot of praise, Qadry, for Eric Weddle, the Ravens safety. Is that all deserved? Is he as good as advertised?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, what separates him is just his brilliance at the line of scrimmage and kind of confusing a quarterback. The downside to it, though, I guess, if you will, he's done it for so long. He's done a great job, but he kind of got caught out there against Tom Brady, and the Ravens, close the game within 3, and the next thing you know, he winds up trying to be fancy with the spices and trying to fool Tom Brady, and winds up getting a big play over top of him and the other safety, Matt Elam. So is he a leader? Absolutely 100%. Can he do amazing things as far as game-changing plays? Yes. But at the same time, I think he's itching to kind of get back on track after having a game where he gave up a critical touchdown late in the game.
And are you able to quantify why the Ravens are so good at home? Because as I look down on the breakdown, and Mike was asking you earlier about where did things turn around, well, the 4 of the 5 wins there, or the 4 wins that came in the last couple of weeks, those were all home games.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Home games are where it's at. Anytime in the league you can, use the advantage of the home field, you're giving yourself a shot. I think the biggest thing for this Ravens ball club, number one, they feed off the crowd, but then number two, I think offensively they put themselves in a position where, they don't make as many mistakes at home for whatever the reason might be.
Let's talk about the offense. Since you said offensively, Joe Flacco, a lot of people are quick to criticize him, but, it's a guy who in Philly one time we had Donovan McNabb come off a major knee injury. Here's Joe Flacco coming back off a major knee injury. What's your take on Joe Flacco right now?
Yeah, I think he's put himself in the position of being a lot better than he had as far as starting off the season. And starting off the season, I thought he looked really good when it came to his knee and the movement and just getting in and out of the pocket. I think he struggled a little bit as far as interceptions this year. He'll be the first to tell you that, offensively they've gone through their second coordinator now, and Marty Morningwig after, letting Mark Trestman go. I think it's been somewhat of an adjustment to kind of figure out this offense. This late in the year, you're still looking at, well, where are they as far as an offense? They have strong pieces around Joe. They had some issues as far as the offensive line was concerned and their health. But with that being said, I think that if they can, in fact, kind of settle things down, what does that mean? They've done a hurry-up offense at times. They've been successful at running the ball at times. They've been successful at taking shots down the field. I think it's about putting it together and, yes, stringing together wins based upon how dominating your offense is. And the next 3 weeks, starting with Philly, is going to dictate whether or not they get in or whether or not they're going to be on the outside looking in and seeing the playoffs, slip through their fingers for another year.
Qadry Ismail is with us from the Ravens Radio Network. I want to get your take on Harbaugh because, new coach here, a lot of mixed reviews on Peterson so far. And I saw, I guess, a former Raven, who was it? I can't remember, but said one of the things about Harbaugh that makes him such a great head coach is that he's not an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator. He's a special teams guy. So he doesn't think he knows more than the room on one side of the ball. He just kind of lets everybody do their thing. And on game day, that's what makes him stand out. He makes the tough decisions because he's not distracted by calling plays or calling defenses. What do you think makes Harbaugh such a steady and good NFL head coach?
The biggest thing, I think, is his preparation phase from start to finish. And what is the start? The start is as soon as you start the off season. He leaves no stone unturned. And at the same time, when you say, well, okay, how do we want to practice? Putting it together as far as being unconventional. I think a lot of coaches, they get kind of stuck in a system of, well, we got to go ahead and do third down at the, third period of practice, or, we're going to do one-on-ones and 7-on-7 at this point in time in practice. For him, he changes it up and keeps it in an unpredictable nature. There are not a lot of scripted plays, the offense going up against the defense, but rather, what is the coordinator going to do in a tight situation? Can he adjust his plays that is going to be necessary for them to win? That carries over into the regular season, and I think that's where, by preparation and preparing his team, both offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators, I think it trickles down into the players, and the players feel confident about the game plan that they have set forth for them, and they wind up being a good ball club.
Hey, what's your take on, you got like Michael Floyd released, your team needs a wide receiver. Should you have been a team, Philadelphia, Baltimore, anybody? I mean, the Patriots, it's almost like the Patriots are laughing at everybody else. Like, really? You're going to let us take them? Should a team of a need go out and get a guy like that?
It's tough to say because I think, for the Patriots, they do obviously need a tight end, and losing Gronkowski and everything. They got a bunch of young guys that are, kind of sitting there as Tom Brady and them going to make another run for, a championship. I think, with Michael Floyd, I don't know the fullness of his, DUI arrest. Was it, one of those cases where he just had a lapse in judgment? Was it, hey, I'm kind of comfortable where I'm at in Arizona, and, I'm taking things for granted. I know he was going to be scheduled to be a free agent, so something was there that Arizona didn't like from him that caused him to kind of be a malcontent in the locker room that obviously he got released. So, those are factors you got to look at. What's my team like? What's, the skill set of the guys in my team? Are they, a ball club that's going to be able to assimilate, him into the locker room? I think, Bill Belichick does a great job of, everybody, you do your job. Don't worry about everybody else. I'll take care of it. And so, that's his asset. That's what he does so well. I think for Michael Floyd, now it's up to him to take advantage of his second chance.
Yep, and Qadry Ismail, I think you made it perfect there with Belichick. You got a guy like that at the top. I think that separates, them from a lot of other teams. Just great leadership at the top. Qadry Ismail from the Ravens Radio Network. Ravens and Eagles this Sunday. You can hear the game on 97.3. Thanks, Qadry.
Appreciate it, guys.